the ministry of godliness in man and through man, asserting some degree of control on all life, even the life that's not in the born-again believer. God, because of Abraham, saved Lot. There is so much going on in this world in the people that don't know God, and for the purpose of those, or in the lives of those people, for the purpose of those that do know God. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yep.
Now understand what this means. And please grasp this. What we see then is we see life that is not God, but affected by God. There are, in its purity, God is manifest. In its purity, the life of God is expressed. But most of what you see is a life that's not God, but it is to some degree affected by God. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, let's talk about it. Okay, here's what I'm saying. If I'm completely surrendered and yielded to the Spirit of God, He's going to bring me to the place that God's life is that which is expressed. Not me, but God. But now what I see in the church, in the individuals, and even in the world, is a life that's not God at all, but it is affected by the life of God to some degree. The world is under some degree of control because of God's life. The church operates as it does by some degree of control by God's life. Let me give you an example. Maybe this will help you. In the millennial reign, for 1,000 years, everything is going to be kept in check by the power of the life of God. But the moment that that check is removed, the true nature of all that's there will come forth. So we see life right now, though not submitted to God and yielded to the life of God, it is affected by the life of God. All right. This life, not God, but affected by the life of God, can be very moral, very ethical, very religious, even quote Scripture, and even believe the Bible within the capabilities of that life. Because that life is affected by God, though not completely yielded to God. What we have done in the church world today is we have put the focus on the wrong life. What we've done is we've placed the focus on the life that is influenced by God instead of the life of God placed there to influence. What this does is it makes the standard for Christianity a life affected by God instead of the life of God itself. Because that is what has happened in our society, we see many variations to one truth. Because we judge, are we all right by the many positions held by a life affected by God, but not God's life. Do you understand what I'm saying? I pray that tonight we can come together and discuss this. This life that I'm talking about, influenced by God's life, but not yielded to God's life, and not God's life expressed, therefore. But this life, then, that I'm talking about is influenced by heaven and feels like it's okay, but it's still earthly. And because it is earthly, it retains its principle. And the principle of that life will always place the emphasis on the wrong realm. What I mean by that is the primary reason for that life to seek God is to want God to use the eternal to effect the natural. God do this, God do that, God I need this, God I need that. And we all have needs. I'm not minimizing that. But what I'm saying is that life affected by God, but not God, will look and put the emphasis and the focus on what this life needs to be what we think it should be. While God is trying to use this life to affect the eternal matters. That's the eternal principle over the natural principles. And that's how we're going to know the difference. It is this life that Romans 5 and 10 said that the life of Christ comes to save you from. He comes to save you from yourself. These battles of the mysteries of godliness go to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Reading from the 2nd verse. That you be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled neither by the Spirit, nor by the word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. And they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. He talks about the day of Christ at hand. Now, we have to understand the consummation of the day of Christ is dealing with the catching away, or what we call the rapture. Everybody understands that. But the